what's happening, everybody? It is Thursday night, and what's that mean? You know what that means. It's time for another episode of Thrifty Business. Tonight, I'm your usual host. Hey, I'm Vegas Jay. What's happening? And for the first time ever in Thrifty Business, I have a male co-host. Hello, Dave Ing. How are you?
Hi, Dave Ing, and I'm from Allentown.
Welcome, Dave. Thank you. Most of you probably remember Dave. Dave was a guest on the show. Dave's been in the audience at a few live Thrifty Business shows, so Dave's been hanging around us for quite a while. And we got a special guest tonight because you know what we're talking about? We're talking about this. Christmas. Now, I know it's October. Jinni?
Every day is Christmas on eBay.
That's right. So Jinni is my guest tonight. She's going to talk about Christmas. She's going to talk us about things that I knew nothing about. So it's going to be kind of a cool learning for everybody. But as we always start at the top of the show, I try and match my rum and my tiki mug to the guest. And I've done that quite well tonight. Oops. There we go. Time for Jay's Tiki Talk. Each week I drink a different rum out of a different mug. And since Jinni is here to talk about Christmas, there isn't a Christmas rum per se, but my good friend Kari makes her own and hands it out at Christmas. So it still has the Christmas decoration on it from when she made it. So she combines 3 rums and some magic spices and then bottles it herself. So although not actual Christmas rum, I want to thank Kari for this Christmas rum. And Jinni, you are from Oklahoma, which is the home of Frankoma pottery. So I have a Frankoma tiki coconut mug.
Yay!
I'll have a little sip. And, you know, and the day I found this on the thrift store shelf is one of those days where I know I'm going to find something good in the vase section. And that's exactly where this was, in the vase section of a Goodwill.
Oh, that's great.
It is wonderful. So, yeah, if you don't know about Frankoma, you should, especially when it comes to tiki, because one of, if not the Holy Grail in tiki mugs was made by Frankoma, and I have mine on the way. Should be here tomorrow. All right, cool. So Jinni's going to be back at the half-hour mark, like always. So Jinni, enjoy the show. Sit back, relax. We'll see you in a half hour. Make sure you're not picking your nose or anything like that.
I'll try not to.
And enjoy the show. All right, let's get right to it. Oh, well, let's show this picture first. Dave sent me this great photo of Dave and I drinking at the Den of Sin. Dave is wearing his Den of Sin t-shirt. If you would stand up a little bit, Dave. And,
we've got our Tiki Santa, and in this photo, I'm drinking a Pugalicious, which is the house cocktail at the Den of Sin.
And I'm drinking a beer.
I didn't show you this, Jay, but that day I was running around your house doing selfies with all of the tikis. And so when I found this picture, there were all these pictures of me lined up with all the tikis indoors, the ones in the front, you know, out on your back patio. And so I was getting a kick out of that. And
oh, I want to see the rest of those too. But yeah. I'm glad Dave sent this photo because I forgot I had 2 Christmas Den of Sin shirts to give away. So we'll give those away a little bit later in the middle of the show. All right. So let's get right to our first segment, shall we? Time for our scores of the week, where Dave and I will share what we sold this week that was particularly good in either dollar amount or if they're a BOLO, and BOLO stands for be on the lookout. And so, Dave, I'm going to let the guest host go first.
Okay, will do. So I have, first off, is a Rod and Gun shirt, and I didn't know this brand when I found it in the thrift store. So I had to look it up on my phone, which is why I'm glad we have smartphones. And it turns out that Nordstrom carries this brand, and I said, okay, I'll buy it. It was $3.95. We sold it for $40, and what was interesting about this one, why I wanted to share it, was that this customer bought another shirt too, a Ralph Lauren shirt, just a regular shirt that I had for a couple of years for $24 on top of that. And I think I was running a promotion at the time for free expedited shipping above $50 order. So I think because it's rare for me to sell 2 shirts to the same customer, he looked through my store and found another shirt to buy so that he could get expedited shipping.
Nice. And I did not know that brand either. So now that is,
yeah, I didn't know this brand, and we actually didn't know it. I got this cashmere sweater at the bins a couple of years ago, and Liz actually wore this all last winter, and we sold it in one day this year for this price $69, and I got it for probably less than $1 since it was so lightweight at the bins, and sold quickly. And now I know the brand. And if I would have known how much it was going to go for, we probably would have sold it last year. But and I guess
so. You
I guess
paid $1. Liz got a whole winter's use out of it, and then you sold it for $69. Now
right,
that is a win-win right there.
Yeah. So whenever you can see cashmere, the material is always a good, and just check it really closely for holes, and hold it up to the light, and you'll be good to go.
Now, did you buy these for $1? Then Liz wore it for 6 months, and then you sold them for $100?
No, these were pretty good quality. Ferragamo. Now, I wanted to share this one with you because these were practically a dud. I had them in my store for a couple of years, and Liz somehow was looking at my listings one day. And this is my wife, Liz, for your audience. And it turns out I had spelled Salvatore incorrectly. She's heard the English teacher said you spelled it incorrectly, and I didn't have the word Ferragamo refers to these as pumps, so I didn't have that keyword in there. So I took them down and I redid the photos, redid the keywords, and then I got in 3 months I got $100 for them. So
nice.
So it's helpful to have someone else, whether it be your spouse or a friend, an eBay friend, just look at your listings sometimes to check if you miss something obvious. And then the last thing is, just a pair of Clark's boots. This is a regular Clark's is a regular brand for shoes, and I think I sold those for $92. But I wanted to share with your audience how I ship them, and I paid $12 for them, and they were up for about 3 months. And I carry these boxes. They're 19 by 12 by 4s. I'm not sure if you can see that. And I buy them from Uline. You have to buy 20 at a time, but I work through them by the time.
Show it's a good all-around box. Just popped you on the big screen. Show them again.
Okay. Oh yeah, sure. Here we go. This is a 19 by 12 by 4.
Okay, cool. Got it.
And that's my my all-around box for when you have a tall boot and you need the length to ship it. So I hold that box for cowboy boots and all of the tall boots. And I like tall boots because you can get a little bit more money for them than regular shoes. And I think that's it. Oh, Jay, I had to share a milestone with you that I had. And it's funny that I'm on the show tonight to tell you about it. Last night, and this is a first for me, I sold my 1,000th item. I've sold 1,000 items year to date, from the beginning of the year. So it was neat that I logged into my accounting software this morning and it said, you've sold 1,000 items this year.
Awesome.
And so I'm happy to report that to you. And it was a big milestone for me. And we're right at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no kidding. You're going to have a great year. All right, let me get into my scores here. So this is a military glass coffee mug for the Air Force, and I picked it up for $1.50, and it sold in about 2 months for $30. And I like to take glass on a black background, but my assistant threw in a little paper towel just so you could see it a little bit better. So it pops nice on the black. You can see the handle a lot better on the black, but then something white on the inside to show the inside. I love to share my CD scores. Now, this one was actually purchased at a record store. This is Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean. I did pay $15, but I knew it was worth well more. I was shooting for about 50. I had it on sale. Someone gave me an offer of 42, and I happily took it.
Nice.
Almost triple my money. And I sold that CD before, so it's always easy to sell. I used to pass up Field & Stream flannel shirts. They just seemed on the plainer side to me in terms of people aren't really hunting for them. But this one was $1.99, so I figured I'd give it a whirl. And it sold pretty quick for $25 plus shipping. So if I can get them that cheap, I will definitely keep picking them up because I like plaids. So that plaid caught my eye. That's kind of why I stopped and looked at it for a second. And then, hey, it's Halloween time. I know we're talking about Christmas tonight, but this is Ash from Pokemon. He's like the human character. I don't know Pokemon all that well, but I picked it up for $6.99 and it sold for $31.59. All right, you have seen our scores. Now it's time for time for our duds of the week, brought to you by WorthPoint. If Dave and I had used WorthPoint, we probably wouldn't have these duds. WorthPoint is the largest resource for identifying, researching, and valuing antiques, art, and vintage collectibles online. So I love using WorthPoint. All right. So,
oh yes,
big old $4.79 there, buddy.
Yeah, $4.79. I think it went for even less than that, $4.30. I had it for a year. I tend to buy sealed DVDs whenever I can get them, especially at the Goodwill outlet, and I didn't. So I can pick them up for next to nothing, because they don't weigh really anything. But this one turns out it wasn't worth anything, and it had it for a year, and then free shipping. so I paid for shipping.
Oh yeah, you really took a bath on that one.
Yeah, so next time I'll just scan the stack as quickly as I can. And I have a pair of Joe's jeans here, and I call these.
They sold, as you can see at the top. I did see they sold for $15. So I see
right. Yeah, I took a $15 offer. I had the issue with these was I had them in my inventory forever, pretty much what we in our groups refer to as death piles. I like to call it unlisted inventory. Yeah. But I had these even when I was tracking inventory. They were there that long at the bottom of a bin. So I took a $15 offer. I liked the print on on the backs of the jeans, and I think I could have held out for longer, but this year I'm trying to turn over products, and sometimes you'll take lower offers on that.
Oh yeah.
And so this one is more of a dud for me because I had it for so long before listing it.
Yeah, I'm the same way, because here's my dud of this week. I figured no matter what side of the fence you're on, anything Trump would be good. And I had this for a while. It finally sold I got a low offer of 15, and I'm like, I'll let it go. And then the customer never even paid. So I'm in the process right now of doing the non-paying bidder. So it's like a dud. And then this I thought would be a better score. It's a Cleveland cat plastic tissue box holder. And those cats do quite well, but it sat around my store forever, and I finally had an offer of $15 with $7 shipping, and I took it. So that one kind of surprised me, because usually that stuff does pretty well, but apparently not tissue boxes. So I will still buy Cleveland cat stuff, but not tissue boxes. All right, you've seen our scores, you've seen our duds. Now it's time for Close Encounters of the Thrifty Kind, where Dave and I are going to tell you stories of unique, weird, funny, angry, crazy encounters in the thrift store. And mine is a visual right here, so I'll do mine, then I'll let Dave go. So, and I think I've shared this one before, but I haven't shared it in a while. So, if you thrift long enough, you get that sixth sense of when things are going to happen and change. And I saw a guy pick up a shirt that I would have grabbed myself. I was about there. And he went and showed his wife, and I happened to overhear her go, "No." And then he tried to argue. And hey, I've been with my wife a long time. I know how well that goes. I'm sure Dave knows too. Right. So I had this feeling, Dave, that he was not going to end up buying this shirt. So I basically curtailed my shopping to where he was.
Right, totally.
Because he had a cart. He just had the shirt like this. And finally, the wife won, and I saw him set it down, and I was there within a hot second. So I'm sure by now y'all know I love rum, and this is a shirt for Cruise on Rum, which I use in my bar. So I thought that was a pretty sweet shirt to have, and it was only like $4 or $5. And so one husband lost out, and one husband won.
Woo! Excellent. The right man won. That one.
True. And what's your encounter, buddy?
Oh, so I don't have totally crazy encounters the way some people report, but I can tell you the story about, as you can tell from our scores, Liz and I buy a lot of shoes to sell online, and we were at one of our favorite Goodwills over in Reading, Pennsylvania, and we're in the shoe section looking for pairs of shoes, and we were finding them, but just the one shoe, like the one of the two shoes. The other one was just not there, and that's not normal for Goodwill. And so I had 4 or 5 pairs of just a single shoe. I would buy the pair if we could find it. And so I was thinking in my head, I was like, I got to ask the employees, there's got to be a place where people, for whatever reason, I don't know why, stash these shoes. And so I'd asked one of the employees, and she said, oh, they stuff them in the plush, like that's lined above where the shirts are. And so I started rooting around in the plush and pulling out shoes that didn't even go with the ones we were trying to get. And eventually she pulled the manager over, and she started walking around the store looking for the shoes that we were. And so we really couldn't find anyone, maybe one pair.
Wow.
And, yeah. So the manager said, well, if you're looking for shoes, but she brought us in the back. She said, come in the back. And there were these 2 giant bins of shoes. She let us have first dibs on them even before they came out onto the floor. So we filled up a cart, and those tall Clark's boots were from that day. And we got, some other good pairs of shoes. So
your Thrifty encounter was actually having some skills to get in the back room. Mine was stalking a poor beat up husband. Pray, shirt. I'm gonna get that shirt.
Right. Sometimes
that is so awesome. I end up in back room sometimes too, and that always is a joy because you find the good stuff back there. Yeah. Great story. All right, now it is time for our Thrifty tip of the week, which is brought to you by Stamps.com. Postage on demand. Stamps.com's online postage service enables small businesses like myself and all of you, enterprises and online retailers, to print U.S. Postal Service approved postage with just a computer, printer, and internet connection right from their home or office. And I use stamps almost every day because besides selling on eBay and Amazon, I also sell through when I do my haul shows, and I sold a t-shirt just through a Facebook Live yesterday. So you always need a way to ship them, and Stamps brings you the discount. So if you have never tried Stamps, definitely give it a whirl. All right. So here's my Thrifty tip of the week. And it's one I don't think I've ever really said, but this is kind of makes sense, but this awesome conglomerate of friends like I do and Dave does. And, if your friends, and you should talk to your friends, your friends should know what you're into, because when a friend of theirs ends up at a swap meet where the guy's having a blowout sale of $5 of hundreds of Hawaiian shirts.
Look at this.
So, I have a good friend, Summer, who I'm actually going thrifting with tomorrow. She got this picture from a friend of hers. And a friend of hers was at the swap meet, and Summer couldn't get there. So Summer forwarded the picture right onto me immediately and said, hey, Jay, this guy's got hundreds of Hawaiian shirts up at the swap meet. And I dropped what I was doing. My wife and I headed right up there.
Oh, look at this.
Here's what we got.
Excellent.
Here is what we got. Whoa. We ended up with about 20 Hawaiian shirts at $5 a pop. And on average, I'll probably get $25 a pop for them. So, my tip is make sure your friends know what you're into. Everyone knows I'm into tiki and Hawaiian and rum and stuff like that. But if you don't talk and ever tell your friends, they wouldn't know to send you that picture.
That's great. Yeah.
Whoa, so that's a lot of bins, buddy.
Right. This is a lot of bins. And I took this picture because when is there no one in the store when it's open? This is actually the Camp Hill Goodwill bins store out in Pennsylvania here. And I took this picture right before Pam McAllister taught her thrifting class this summer. And so out in Pennsylvania, we have, they give you like discounts, like you pay less per pound as you buy more. So you hit these price break discounts when you hit 20 pounds or 50 pounds. So my tip is that when you're in shopping in the Goodwill bins, and if the employees will let you, check your weight of your cart before you check out. And if you're close to 20 pounds, keep shopping, or even just throw a couple things into your cart so that you can get to that price point. And the only other thing I would say about the bins is that sometimes we're tempted to buy more than what we can physically handle. And so what I've done lately is I've tried to stick to just highest quality things I don't have to repair, and that I can picture myself listing when I go home, and just taking it a little slower so that way you don't end up with just piles of stuff, and that's pretty much that.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because let me tell you, I didn't need those Hawaiian shirts. Man, of 20 I got, about 5 were my size, 2XLT. So for me too, I'm like, oh, well, $5 Hawaiian shirts, I'll keep them for myself. But, it was a quick run up, easy to list, because my assistant knows all about Hawaiian shirts now. So, that's something we can flip real easy up to eBay.
And they're in your niche, so I can
exactly
just listing them right away.
Right in my wheelhouse. All right, now it's time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me, brought to you by Bubble Fast. Dave and I are going to tell you what to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping. Bubble Fast is a family-owned business providing quality shipping supplies to the online 99. Bubble Fast, the internet's home for shipping supplies. And use the code J&A and get 10% off your entire order. And I just ordered some fresh bubble wrap. I am ready for Christmas. All right, so here you go.
Oh, yes, so that's me. So I was having a office space moment where, with the paper jams in my laser printer. I brought a brand new laser printer at fourth quarter last year, and my shipping labels were just jamming in it, and it was so frustrating. I had to send the printer back for service. But in the meantime, I ordered this a used thermal printer on right on eBay. It was around $100, and I'm kind of obsessed with it, Jason.
Is that your new girlfriend?
Yeah, and it's just, if you ask me, I ask people a lot, what's your favorite tool? What's your favorite thing that you use in your office? And this thing, the ink doesn't run. It'll print a 4x6 shipping label for you, and I think you have one also.
Oh, and, yeah, I have a Zebra.
Yeah, and I think that once your shipping rate goes from a low to maybe moderate and you're thinking about maybe something else, I would say aim for one of these. For me, it was a little tricky to set up since I bought it used. But if you get a printer that has software, I'm sure that there wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it's an amazing printer to have. And no matter the brand, but to have the thermal printer where it just spits out the label. So awesome. All right. If you register with FedEx, you can get free labels. UPS also, if you register with UPS. All right, so here's mine. Now, we talk a lot about packaging, how it should look. Some of you go the extra distance and make it all frilly and pretty, and me and a lot of others just get it in the package and get it to the customer. And then I hear arguments where like, well, that's not how like a bigger store would do it. And I'm here to tell you, no, that is how they do it. So I shop at DXL, that is the big and tall store for big fellas. And luckily, in the last 15 years, fashionable brands have been added to DXL. Back when I was just a fat kid, it was the dorkiest clothes ever. But now there's fashion brands. And one of them, which I've always had my eye on, but it's just way too expensive, is Psycho Bunny. And this T-shirt, which is just a V-neck with a little Psycho Bunny on it, is $65 new. Well, I didn't pay $65. I got it on sale. But still, it is a $65 T-shirt. And all they did was they just jammed in this giant poly mailer and sent it to me. Like, it's not even remotely the right size or nothing, but this is a major company that's just sticking them in. I recommend you put it in the right size poly mailer. You do not need this giant thing for one T-shirt. That's for damn sure. But these are how when I get stuff from like Macy's or other clothing areas, it just comes in poly mailers. Like I mail my stuff. Now, if you're selling on Poshmark or you're selling some frilly, girly vintage dress, I get making it a little prettier. But man, if you're just selling T-shirts, Hawaiian shirts, just cowboy shirts, just stick them in the poly mailer and off they go.
All right, I agree. Excellent. That's what I do here.
Time for... Oops. Our eBay tip of the week, which is brought to you by FreeUp. FreeUp with 3 E's is the hands-on solution to hire remote e-commerce workers. FreeUp vets hundreds of workers a week, so you get access to the top 1% of online talent whenever you need them. Sign up is free, no monthly fees, no minimum hours. Get the workers you need when you need them and only pay for the hours they work. Brenda, hey Brenda. A loyal watcher of the show heard Nate when he was on is now on her way to building a remote empire with her team of FreeUp workers. So go to freeup.com with 3 E's to start to free up your time and scale your business. So you got like 3 little tips here together.
Okay, yeah, this is me. I've been trying really hard this year, especially after being to the eBay conference, to make sure that I'm using all of the marketing tools that are available to us in eBay. And I think for me personally, I got a little confused at the beginning between the differences between all of them. So this one is guaranteed delivery, which is pretty new. It has your items. It allows your customers to search for items that can get to them pretty quickly, and it's pretty easy for us to opt into. We just have to opt in for a handling time and a couple other things to mainly get it out. We have to promise eBay that we'll get that item out within a day. There's also Markdown Manager, which is part of eBay Promotions and eBay Promoted Listings. And those two seem a little bit different, but they're different programs that are in eBay. Markdown Manager is where you run a sale and your customers get, or people that are watching your items get an email the next day saying that your item is on sale. And I think a lot of times that generates them to take a look at it and say, hey, I'll buy it at this price. And you can also run promotions such as $5 off of a $50 purchase. I'm actually running that right now, and it's generated about $450 of sales this month.
Wow.
Yeah. And last month I ran a free expedited shipping above $50, which we sold those 2 shirts on. And you can also run promotions that are buy one, get one free, or buy one, get one half off. And I think it really, when customers see that, when they're in looking at your items, it really entices them to, to buy your item because they're getting a deal. And so, yeah, that's what I would encourage everyone to do. And I think that's really helped my sales this year.
Yeah, if you're not using all the programs that eBay gives you, you should be, because it really is helpful. And I'm going to piggyback on that. Now, this is something I really didn't think I was going to have to talk about, but because of a post in one of my groups, I forget if it was Thrifty Board or Secret Beach, one of the members, and look, if you're in the chat, I'm not calling you out by name. I'm not making fun of you, but it made me aware that maybe some people aren't paying attention. They asked, hey, I see I get free shipping supplies. When did that start? And he's had a store this whole time. So he has missed out on these free shipping supplies. How long's it been? Like 2 years now, Dave?
Right. Yeah. I just got a big box yesterday.
So I'm making fun of him or calling him out. But in case you don't know, if you have a store, when you go to the Seller Hub, go over to marketing and go down to subscriber discounts. And the first thing you'll see is these eBay shipping supplies. When you click on see details, it'll give you your monthly coupon. Now mine's already redeemed. So you would click in here and just copy the coupon code, click on start shopping, and here is all the eBay branded shipping supplies. And then if you have the middle store, which I have, you get $50 a quarter. So I ordered some more tape, some of the round eBay stickers, and some boxes I needed, and they're on their way. So make sure if you have a store, you're using your quarterly coupon. And if you know someone that has a store, make sure, they're using theirs. I was a little surprised, but that tells me I'm sure he's not the only one. So I want to make sure that everyone is getting their free supplies, because, we all complain about the fees went up, my discounts went down. Well, the middle store is getting $200 of free shipping supplies a year. I'm damn well getting them. That's for sure. All right. Before we get, that is our segment. So before we get let's start there. Before we get our guests in here, excuse me. 2 months ago, I did a Tiki webinar called Tiki Talk. What is it and should I buy it? I'm a huge, huge Tiki fan, but I can teach others. Like, you don't have to want to be a Tiki fan like myself, but there is tons and tons and tons of money to be made in the Tiki world. So the webinar was so successful. I did it live twice. I had a Q&A after both webinars, and surprisingly, same content, obviously 2 different audiences, no repeat questions. It was crazy. I never had that happen where there was no repeats. So what I've done is I combined the webinar with both sets of questions and made it available for a download for those of you who missed it. It is 3 hours long for only $20. And you don't think the content's worth it, but no one has ever said, Jay, your content is not worth it. If you know anything, if you've watched this show at all, I give a lot of content away for free. I don't charge for a whole heck of a lot. So when I do, I'm bringing it, because I always bring it in anything I do. And what I did was I broke down Tiki into 8 categories. The history of the bar, because although it is not necessarily going to put money in your pocket, I feel if you know the history, it'll help you absorb it better, and it'll help you know what to look for. I also talk about the cocktails and the rum. I talk about the music of a Tiki bar, because it's very specific music, and it is not reggae, but you got to get the webinar to find out what it is. We talk about vintage mugs and ephemera. We talk about modern mugs and swizzles. We talk about clothing, like what I'm wearing. Tiki decor, like the actual tikis, the art, stuff like that. Other knickknacks that aren't really Tiki, but like puffer fish, ship's wheels, nautical stuff that works its way in. And what I am and what a Jimmy Buffett Parenthood fan is, they're two totally different things. Although they both tend to come into Tiki, they come in from different angles. So I talk about the difference because although both sets of customers will buy stuff, you got to know who you're marketing to. If you're trying to market Jimmy Buffett stuff to a real Tiki collector, he ain't buying it. So you gotta know what you're marketing to. So it's really easy to go to www.tikiclass.com. And that's where you can download the webinar. Only $20, 3 hours, tons and tons of bolos and learning. And anybody that's in the chat will probably tell you right now that has seen it. They took just oodles of pages of notes because I overdo all my webinars. Speaking of overdoing it, I have a subscription-based Facebook group called The Secret Beach. And I open it only a couple times a year, and it's open right now for a couple of weeks. If you go to www.thesecretbeach.club, you can sign up for The Secret Beach. And what I do is every month I give a webinar. Every month I have a guest give a webinar. We do bonus YouTube shows. I do how-to videos. I threw a party for everyone in July. We're taking a cruise in January. And so we do a lot of fun, but we do a lot of learning. So far, since the inception of The Secret Beach last November, the webinars I have done are the art of buying Christmas CDs, taking a physical eBay inventory, selling real things to real people in person. And that was a two-parter when you sell at places like a flea market, creating monthly sales and inventory spreadsheets, hiring an assistant, spotting a fake concert t-shirt, tools every seller should have on their desk, the history of the Tiki Bar. Because what I did was I take the webinar and I break down each 8 sections into its own section and give more content, taking good eBay photos and buying and flipping Halloween costumes. Then our guest webinars have been conquering your death piles, accounting, fun, and shenanigans, all about Twitter, motivational Mac Daddy, don't leave money on the table, women's shoes, that's a 3-parter, that one's awesome, Star Wars collectibles, merch by Amazon, using promoted listings, intro to Poshmark, when your side hustle has to become your main hustle, and all about Levi's. So if you join the Secret Beach now, not only will you get anything coming up, you can still watch all those webinars. They are there for your viewing pleasure at any time you want. And all those webinars are so jam-packed with content. I know most people have to watch them 2 and 3 times and again take a lot of notes. And the people who are in the Secret Beach, if you're in the chat right now, they'll tell you it's worth the money. Like I said, I always overgive on my content. I never anybody. And same thing. It's one of those things where if you join and you don't feel it's worth your time and money, you can quit anytime you want. No questions asked. And if you can sign up for the whole year, you get 2 months for free, basically. If you pay monthly, cool. If you can go full year, you pay basically 10 months and you get 2 for free. So there's my commercials. The beach is only open for 2 weeks. You can get the download anytime, but I recommend getting it because it'll teach you a ton. And if you go to that page, you'll see 4 success stories down below. Watch those 4 videos. It is 4 people who are not into buying and flipping Tiki stuff, who have made hundreds of dollars flipping because of the things I taught them.
So cool.
All right, did I cover it all, Dave?
Things too. Yeah, I've changed some things about my business too by being part of the Secret Beach that have really helped me this year. And I think that's one of the reasons why I have had such a stellar year. I don't chime in a lot, but I'm always watching. So I really appreciate all the work that you've done. It's been amazing.
Cool. I'm glad you are there, and I'm glad you enjoy it. All right, let's get right into our guest. Oh, hey. What time is it? It's time for our guest, Jinni Lorette. How are you? Let's see if we can get her on here. Whoops.
Camera. How are you?
There we go. And you're on.
Hey, Jinni.
Ho, ho, ho. Wait. We'll all get our Santa hats on.
That's yes. Right, princess.
Of course, mine says princess and has a tiara on.
I'm ready.
There we go. It's 80 degrees in my house, and I'm wearing a Santa hat now, so.
Right, I'm running the air conditioning also too. It's pretty warm here.
I should be. All right, so Jinni, let's talk about, let's get to know you, and so give us your 60-second bio. Where do you live? Are you married? You got any kids? You got any pets? Give us a quick rundown of who Jinni is.
Well, I live in Oklahoma City. I grew up in Alaska. Maybe why I like Santa Claus so much. I have one son. He is 46 years old, and it's ironic that the pictures that you show, Jay, look just like my son. Same hairdo, same scenarios. It's very funny. My mom and I live together. She is 84 years old, and I help take care of her. And let's see, and I love Christmas. I have always loved Christmas. I started selling on eBay in 2002. After 17 years on the job in sales, I got the old pink slip. So I had a year's severance pay, and I was drawing unemployment, and I was selling on eBay, and I was racking in the big bucks. I lived in Bella Vista, Arkansas, up by Walmart headquarters. And I started off selling Christmas and vintage clothing and a few books here and there. And Bella Vista is a retirement community. The estate sales were wonderful. So I found a lot. And then my son got married. They had a baby. So I had to move back to Oklahoma City to be by my granddaughter, Adriana. And about, a couple of years ago, I retired. And I decided to start selling on eBay again. So here I am. And then I started my Facebook page called Yes, Virginia. Every day is Christmas on eBay. And ironically enough, my name is Virginia. And so I run that. We do lots of different things on there. We have quick tips, which I do a lot of research, find out what's selling. I'll do a short little blurb about the product, the brands, etc., and then give an example of 2 to 4 solds to give people an idea of what they can look for in that particular brand. We do social media sharing. We do a Saturday watch party where we watch each other's items. And I do ornament IDs. A lot of people don't realize that there are a lot of ornaments out there that you can actually ID from the cap, the hook, or the tag.
So that's identifying the tiki mugs.
Exactly. So I have pictures, examples, etc. And then once a month we do, what did you learn this month? And people just come on and say, what they learned about Christmas that they didn't know before. I mean, I'm always finding new things. This week I learned that replacement bulbs for strings of Christmas lights are going for big bucks. It absolutely blew my mind. I have probably passed by hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of vintage Christmas lights that you see in bags at the thrift store, you see at garage sales, and you think, oh, those are old, Well, don't pass them by anymore because they sell.
Right, that's something I would never think about.
No, not at all. The pink ones are selling like hotcakes right now. Look for the different colors. You see a lot of reds, greens, blues, typical Christmas colors. If you find orange ones, black ones, pink ones, buy those bad boys. And if they have something on them like Woolsworth or Ben Franklin or something that's vintage, those sell very, very well. And I learned that they come in all different sizes. They come in C7, C7.5, C9. I mean, there's all different wattage of those Christmas bulbs. And people are buying them. So that's what I learned this week.
All right, Dave, you want your mind to be blown?
Yes, blow my mind.
So Jinni sent me this example, 7 bulbs sold for $293.
Wow, where would you even put these? Or are these just replacement bulbs?
They are just replacement bulbs.
Wow, that is something. What would you say from your experience? They're just...
Well, I've never seen a marbleized.
Yeah, okay.
Replacement bulb. But I found these online and I go, oh, whoa. I've probably passed some by before, I'm sure.
Right, that is something.
Remarkable. Now, there are bulbs that maybe people know about that, like your figural bulbs, the old milk glass that were painted, those sell very well. I mean, if you find those, grab them because they're vintage, and there are people, that, huge collectors of the figurabubs. They're like snowmen, Santa Claus, lanterns, just a lot of different Christmas figurines that come in a milk glass, and they're old, and they do sell. And then, of course, your bubble lights. Never pass by a bubble light, old or new. They all sell. They don't have to have a box. If you find a set of Noma bubble lights.
Whoa. Do you hear that? Do you hear me, Dave?
I heard that. It was kind of a roar, and then it quieted down.
The roar is me. That's weird. How many Santas do you think you have, Jinni?
I have probably close to 2,000 Santas.
Wow.
I've been collecting for longer than you've been alive, Jay.
You're a true collector.
I am a true collector. Now, when I left Bella Vista, I had a lot more, and I sold a lot of them. I mean, I sold a bunch. When you collect that long, everybody gives you Santa Clauses for your birthday, for Christmas, for every holiday. And I've always been a thrifter, so I collect them there. And in my work, I used to travel, and I could tell you the Christmas stores in every major city from Los Angeles to New York City. I mean, I hit them all.
Wow, that is something. Do you want to show the audience the Santa that you showed me in the pre-show?
Oh, sure. I rub this Santa's head every day before I go thrifting, or every time I go thrifting. It's a yard sale Santa, and I had back surgery about, let me see when the date on this is, 2002, and I was flat on my back. So he was a ceramic Santa that I painted while I was on my back. But I just rub his little head, say, let me find some good Christmas.
That's great.
So Dave, have you flipped any Christmas stuff recently?
You know, I have a few things in my store, but I really, my main thing was I got into the Christmas sweaters, and I still have a few, but and a few sell every year. I have a bin that I should probably pull out soon and take a look at the listings to make sure they're fresh. But how about you, Jason?
Yeah, I've sold a few things this week, but since Jinni was on, Jinni, have you done Christmas CDs since you're our Christmas maven?
I have a whole box down here by my feet that need to be listed. So
all right,
I have a few up, not very many, but I have a whole box of them.
I'm gonna show you two bolos. You ready?
I'm ready.
Yes, fire away.
So I'm sure everyone watched Leia's. And this was his first Christmas release, and it's just a cardboard case, but of course it's shaped like an ornament. Right. Now the music on here is only 5 songs, and you can get those on a regular release. So for whatever reason, by the 2 weeks before Christmas, everyone wants this special casing. And so if you look now, it's probably worth about the $5 I spent on it. But if you check this about 2 weeks before Christmas, you will see it selling for like $25-$30.
Cool.
Now there's no rare songs on it. It's just the past.
I heard you say before that you stockpile Christmas CDs and sell them in December because that's when you get the most money. So that's why I'm stockpiling mine. I do pay attention to what you say.
Christmas does sell all year, but
there
is definitely this big arc for the music. It's specifically the music. Because you guys should write these down. Here's my other bolo. Write these down. Look at the price today and look at the price of solds on, say, like December 13th. You'll see. And if you don't know who Esquivel is, look him up on YouTube later. Check him out. This is some weirdies that I absolutely love. And this will be the most bizarre versions you've ever heard of songs like Frosty the Snowman. This is one of my all-time favorite Christmas CDs. I paid $6. From a record store in LA that knows what they're doing, and I'll sell it for about $30-$35 in about 2 months. So there's my 2 Christmas polos.
All right.
Excellent. So you wait to list those,
and
Jason?
I find these quite often. I'm not giving you some weird random bolos. I have 4 copies of this right now and 2 of this. So they're easy to find. You just got to keep your eyes peeled.
Excellent.
Right. Speaking of selling at the right time, now is the time to get your needlepoint kits up. People are starting to do their needlepoint, and sometimes it takes a couple of months for people to complete a stocking or two, but now is the time to get your needlepoints. I recently bought a stocking kit, needlepoint stocking kit, paid $2 for it, and flipped it for $119.99.
Right. That is amazing. Tell us what do you think is the difference here between what would make something like this, go for this high? What was it about this particular kit?
Well, a lot of it is the image. This one happened to be a called The Night Before Christmas by Drusilla, and it had Santa Claus in his sleigh with the reindeer going up. It was very attractive, and there it is. And it has the little village below, and it went for $119.90 or $119.88 maybe. Yes. And I have seen these stocking kits go upwards of $300 for certain designs.
Really?
And the older ones that they can no longer find. So get your needlepoint, and not just stockings. I mean, there are all kinds of needlepoint scenes that people are working on. Tree skirts, needlepoint tree skirts, very popular. Now, they do make a lot of stockings, and you'll find these in thrift stores and garage sales that are felt. I have not had a lot of luck with the felt stockings. I'm trying to sell a few right now for $10, but I only have like 50 cents or $1 wrapped up in them. So if I sell them, fine. If I don't, that's fine too. So
I'm going to be honest. God dang, that is crazy. I'm going to be honest and admit something here. Y'all get a kick out of this. I thought when I used to find kits like this, that stocking was just for Nicole's.
Oh, right. Oh, I was actually wondering that. Do you have to put Nicole on it?
No. I thought it was. And then one day someone pointed out, no, you could stitch any name there. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, the kit actually comes with the letters. You pick out the letters and they give you the pattern to put your own name in there.
That's funny.
And also the completed stockings. So another thing that I found out, probably a couple of months ago, greeting cards.
Really?
Old boxes of Christmas cards. And I'm talking about just your regular old Christmas cards. I picked this box up for 50 cents, sold it for $27.99. And as you can tell, it doesn't look real Christmassy. I mean, it's blue, it's a bowl with bulbs, and there were only 9 in the box. They were from the 1960s. If you go in and look at the eBay solds, you'll see some cards that are selling for $15, $20 each. The really 1940, 50 cards. Huge collectors for greeting cards. Huge.
Now, Jinni, is this something, all of your Christmas items, are you listing them all year long, or do you wait for certain times?
No, I list all year long.
Okay.
I find it, I list it. I tend not to do a lot of markdowns because people look at it. I mean, this particular box of cards was probably up for a month.
Okay.
And I had a lot of lookers.
Right.
People were, looking. And the more impressions you get, the better off you are. I was in the advertising business. I worked for a company that did advertising. I sold advertising. And impressions were how we sold the advertising. We did in-store advertising. We did in grocery stores. We did over the aisle. It was called aisle vision. And the way we sold it to the manufacturers was by impression. So each grocery store would tell us how many people came into the store that month. And that's how we paid them. So if, they had 10,000 customers, they got paid for 10,000 customers. It was by impression. eBay, Etsy is the same thing. The more people you can get to look, the more impressions, the better the chance you have to sell it.
Right. That's interesting. And that's how you can, did I cut you off, Jason?
Oh, no,
No,
no.
go ahead.
No, no, go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. That's interesting that you can use that. What other types of things that do you have from your previous experience, in business that you've translated over to your eBay business?
Oh, geez.
Sorry, is that a hard one? Right, because you just threw
I'm
that one
trying
out
to
there,
think.
impressions.
Impressions is probably the most important
Okay.
thing in selling online. I mean, the more people you can get into your store, that's why I am so big on social media sharing.
Right.
I mean, honestly, you can put up an item, a brand new item, and if you don't do social media sharing, you may get 10, 15, 20, 25 views the first week. Social media sharing, you can have 100 the first day. So that
Okay,
means you've
right.
had 100 people look at your item, and if they don't see it, they can't buy it.
Gotcha.
No
What are your favorite
kidding.
platforms for social media?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I spend a lot of time. I probably spend an hour to an hour and a half a day, because I believe that good karma comes from sharing other people's items. So, for instance, in my social media sharing on Yes Virginia, every time someone puts something up, I share it. I get
Gotcha.
a
I
lot.
think I was wondering, is it Twitter, Instagram? What are your platforms?
I share on Pinterest. I
Okay,
think
on
Pinterest
Pinterest.
is
Gotcha.
the best. I mean, if you go into Pinterest and type in an item you have up for sale and you've been sharing it, it'll pop right up. So basically, when someone, let's say someone is looking for vintage Christmas cards and they don't necessarily know where they're going to buy them, they can go into Google, you type in vintage Christmas cards, and Pinterest will pop, well, eBay will too, but Pinterest will pop up, and they may have 100 pictures, and yours is right there.
Right, and then it'll feed them right to your listings.
And then it takes them
Yeah.
right to your listing.
Right, excellent.
So a good example of how this works is, let's say eBay has, and I won't use this as an example because nobody else probably has. I did not see this particular card. But let's use the example of my Christmas stocking. There are half a dozen Christmas stockings up, just exactly like the one I sold. So let's say someone goes in and they go into Google and they type in Santa Claus needlepoint Christmas stocking, and mine comes up. They click on eBay, the link to my eBay. They never go look at the other ones. So if someone has theirs listed for $59 and mine was $119, they still buy mine because they never go look at the other ones.
Right, sure. That's great.
And then
So
to piggyback on that is never worry. You need to worry about your competition's pricing a little bit, but not really. Because if you're doing this, I buy tiki mugs retail from places that you could buy them and anybody could buy them. And I sell them for 3 times as much on eBay because people don't go look. They run into mine first and they purchase it.
exactly.
And they never go anywhere else.
Exactly.
So let's show a couple more of these examples that you sent me. Let me put the example back up there. So that.
How about the Putz house? PUTZ. There you go.
Yep. There we go.
This is another collectible. A lot of people collect Putz. And, you know, when I first did my quick tip on this, I go, what in the heck is a Putz? A lot of people have never heard of it. It is simply a cardboard house. And you see this one happens to have a bottle brush tree, which we'll talk a little bit about bottle brush trees in a minute. And it has kind of a lot of them have kind of like a mica on them. I paid $1 for this at a church rummage sale. Sold it for what, $29.99.
Yeah.
Right, excellent.
It's cardboard.
It's cardboard.
It's cardboard. It is
Wow.
simply a cardboard house with a little Santa coming out. So that's a Putz. I mean, look.
Hey, you Putz.
Thank you, Putz. Now this one was a little bigger. There are villages of Putz houses. And a lot of them came from Germany. The older, the better. This one, I would speculate, was probably from the 50s or 60s. Some of them go way back. I mean, they're old German putz houses. Putz is the German word. And they can go for even more. So let's talk about this little bottle brush tree.
Yeah. Oops.
Yes, tell us.
People collect bottle brush trees. And ironically enough, I bought a whole bag at the thrift store of bottle brush trees. And I listed them all. And I think I listed them for like $12.99. And they weren't selling. So I was looking at bottle brush trees online and what they sold for. And I noticed that these two were special. They are have two colors on them, and they have little bulbs on them. So I discontinued my main listing for the group, the lot, pulled these two out, sold them for $19.99. So I still have the other bottle brush trees that I can end up selling. People use these for their scenes, people that do Christmas railroads, Christmas villages, they use them in the villages. And some people just collect bottle brush trees. They will do a whole display of nothing but bottle brush trees. I mean, and probably when these sold at Ben Franklin or Woolsworth, they were probably maybe 29 cents a piece. So
good old Ben Franklin's. You get some little goldfish in the back, sit at the lunch counter, buy some bottle brush trees.
Absolutely. So
let's talk coffee mugs.
Coffee mugs. I actually sold 7 coffee mugs last week. I think that was my all-time record for coffee mugs
great.
in a long time. This particular coffee mug, and I wrote this down so I could say it correctly. Let me find my note here. It is a Wechtervalk mug. These are very popular. Wechtervalk makes entire dish sets. You see them in red all the time. They have Christmas gifts on them. As a matter of fact, I'm going to wrap one up tonight and mail it off. They also come in different colors. This one I found just happened to be blue. And I paid 50 cents. I pay 50 cents or less for all my mugs. And I sold it for $18.99. Mugs are my weakness. Mugs by different brands or different makers like Debbie Mum, Mary Englebright, they all sell. I mean, people, I think one of the reasons that mugs sold so well last week is the weather got cooler and people started drinking cocoa and hot tea.
Not here.
Not there.
It's hot.
Right, not here either, but it's coming.
Speaking of Mary Englebright, this was my big mistake of the year. I mean, I paid $1 for this stocking holder. But if you look at the title, I spelled Englebright wrong. It's E-L, not L-E. So I got a bid on it, and I saw the mistake. So I went in, and of course you can't change the title after you have a bid on an item. So I went in and I added the correct spelling, and I started using social media to save it as Mary Englebright misspelled and Mary Englebright spelled correctly. I made $37.20. I'm not going to complain on $1 investment. It was a good ROI, but I think I probably could have made more. But you live and learn. But stocking holders sell.
We all make mistakes.
Yes, we do. And ironically enough, I looked online, and I would say probably close to 30% of all Mary Englebright merchandise online is misspelled.
Right, that's something.
It's just one of those names.
Yeah.
And the same thing on the worker book.
Right and wrong, and both spellings in the title.
Right.
It's that plentiful.
Well,
I mean,
you can put it in
you
the
sold
title
yours
or
with 3 bids and it was spelled wrong. So that tells me
that's
a lot
true.
of people aren't 100% sure. So that's
Right.
that's
And
the way to
maybe
get more eyes.
eBay knows. Yeah, maybe eBay knows also that if you misspell it, it'll show you the listings anyway.
It could. It absolutely could. And then
And the same thing on the Workdervok mugs. That is misspelled many, many ways.
oh yeah.
I bet.
This is a favorite story of mine. Last Friday, October the 6th, which was my son's birthday, a lady on the board on Yes Virginia sent me a picture of this and said, "Is this celluloid?" And I took a look at it. I went over to Google. I Googled celluloid Santa holding dolls, and it popped up. So I sent back a message to her and I said, "Is yours a rattle?" And she said, "Yes, it's a rattle." And I said, "Well, I've only found one, and it sold in 2015 on eBay for $249.99. So I told her, I said, "Price it high and let it fly." In 2 days, she sold it for $349.99. Woe is me. And it's little, it's not big. It's just a little celluloid Santa baby rattle.
Oh, geez. I didn't see how small it was till I see the hand holding it.
Right.
Holy
There
cow,
you
that's
go.
tiny.
It's tiny,
So small.
but it's quite valuable. Keep your eyes peeled, people.
I'm just amazed at our collecting world that we live in. And,
wait a minute. This person lives in my backyard and I could have found this? What?
I am so sorry.
What?
Oh, she does. Actually, it belonged to a family member. She found it in a box of Shiny Brights.
Tell your family member it's on. I'm going for it now.
Really. But the thing of it is, I have found celluloid before, and at garage sales, estate sales, a lot of times they'll think it's plastic. They won't realize it's celluloid. Interesting fact about celluloid, it was invented to make billiard balls and stop making them out of ivory. That's why celluloid was invented. And then it just became something. They made all kinds of items, and a lot of Christmas items are celluloid, and they sell. I mean, if you find something celluloid, and you can kind of tell by looking at it, it has kind of that older ivory looking, but do your research. That's, research. I love to do research. I have been doing genealogy for the last 25 years, and I have honed my skills.
Yes. So tell us, do you use any other tools other than eBay itself for your research?
Oh, I use Google. I am
use Google.
A firm believer. On this particular item, when you went to look on eBay, the picture had been taken down, but it was still up on Pinterest. That's how I knew.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because a lot of times they'll take the picture down on eBay because it was 2015 when it sold, but it was still up on Pinterest. So I could, identify it as exactly the same.
I love when you can still find the old pictures. All right, let's we're low at the top of the hour, but we got some good questions. I want to back up and answer a few. I got to answer a few, and then Jinni, there's a few for you. And actually one for you too, Dave.
Oh, excellent.
We're going way back to our tips. Debbie Weeder always compiles my questions during the webinars, and I forgot she was doing it for the show too. So Marianne wants to know, for guaranteed delivery, can you have best offer on the item?
I believe that you can.
Yes, you can.
But if you take a best offer, I think it bounces it out of the guaranteed delivery system, from what I understand from my last conversation with the eBay concierge. And but you would want to ship it as per your 1-day handling time anyway. For our, I mean, that's what I would do. So I think that's the answer. Would you agree with that, Jason?
Oh yeah, yeah, and we're going to talk about the concierge program coming up, because I'm in it. They've already helped me. I'm actually going to talk about next week. I forgot to tell everyone, next week, not on Thursday night. We're doing it live from Ecom Chicago. It'll be on Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock on the East Coast, 11 o'clock on the West Coast, I think. It's 1 p.m. Chicago time. I always screw that up. But we're going to have a lot of fun co-hosts. So we're going to talk about the concierge service too. I've been told that when I put the secret beach is now open, I forgot the W. So it said no open. It truly is now open. I just forgot a W. So whoopsie, my bad. I guess I should proofread my own stuff. So Kimberly wants to know, I don't know if you've bought a lot of light bulbs yet, Jinni, but are you going to test them all? Are you going to make sure you have all the variety of strands of light so you can test all the light bulbs?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I bought my first box. I paid $2 for a box of 25 green bulbs at the thrift store the other day, and they were new. So, but I wasn't going to buy them, and the manager of the store that I love to shop at knows that I resell. And he said, well, look at the base of these. He says they're old because they're brass, because I didn't think they were that old. And they were new in box. So I paid $2 to take a chance. But will I test each bulb? I don't think so. I'm going to buy new ones.
So, and someone said, how do you know if they're older? What's the giveaway?
Well, the packaging, for starters. I mean,
yeah, if they're in the packaging, yeah.
Packaging. I mean, if you go online, you can tell by the packaging, the GE, like I said, Ben Franklin, Woolsworth, I mean, Noma, never pass anything by that has Noma on it. I mean, they're just well-known vintage lighting products. So, but I would just look at the packaging.
And then Aaron Austin said, if you shine a light into the bulb, you should be able to see if the wire filament is still attached. So if nothing else, if you've got kids at home, give them a job to do.
That's true. Oh, another thing about the bulbs is some of them will say ceramic coated, and those are old.
The ones we would burn our fingers on when we were kids.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. They got hot. They got real hot.
Oh, no kidding. Lauren wants to know, do cards that are written on sell? So if you found vintage cards that someone had sent to grandma or to mom, would those sell? And would you sell them singularly or as a lot?
Yes, they do sell. They have to be pretty old. You'll see a lot of it's like postcards, Christmas postcards. Before people started sending cards as we know them today, they sent a lot of postcards. They're old vintage postcards. They're all written on the back. And the same goes for the older Christmas cards. Even if they're signed, if it's the right image and the right age, yes, they will sell even if they're signed. And people do sell them in lots. They will find, I mean, people saved the Christmas cards they received. So you may buy a bag or you might find some at a garage sale that are cards that people received, and they're all signed. But as long as they're old and they have the right image on them, they will sell. And people lot them up like 4, 5, 6 cards.
Good to know.
That is great to know. And then 2 more questions. If you found, there's lots of my questions. If you found reindeer plates, do you think they sell better as a set or individually?
Say that again.
If you found a bunch of reindeer plates, would you sell them as a set or would you?
Plates and dishes depend on the manufacturer and the brand. There are a lot of plates that you find at Dillard's, at Target, at Sears, and they will come in a fancy little box, and they might have reindeer, all kinds of Christmas decorations. People, I mean, you might be able to sell them, but not for a lot of money. I would sell them as a set. What you're looking for are the branded dishes. the maybe Linux. Gibson is not a good brand to buy. They're on the low end. Some people will buy them. What you really want to look for in dishes are the serving pieces. Those sell.
Huh. Very good.
And then last but not least, I think. Aaron Austin said the craft stores in the past few years have been really pushing bottle brush trees. So be mindful that not all you find are vintage.
Oh,
the new
absolutely.
ones are pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
you can tell a vintage bottle brush when you see it.
And Scott wants to go back to your social media sharing. He wants to know, who are you sharing with? Like-minded people or just your like Facebook friends?
For instance, your Facebook page, Jason.
Yep.
Every single day you have a social media. Not every day do I have an item that matches up because you have different topics every day. I probably participate in social media sharing Facebook pages on 6 different groups. So, for instance, Margaret's group has a Pinterest party every day. So I participate in that, Margaret Collier. There are several other people out there that have great, Jason's, yours is probably the best as far as getting a lot of impression generation from posting on it, because you have to have a fairly good Pinterest following. So, for instance, there are some people that may only have 2 or 3 people that follow them on Pinterest. And so, you might get half a dozen shares. But you also have to realize that every time someone pins your item, that it goes up on Pinterest. And if somebody Googles it, your item comes up.
Right.
Like I said, I probably
take no credit for that. That is all the girls that run the social media sharing. That is Christine, that is Gail, that is Joy, Mary, and Pam. So if you enjoy the social media share thread and you see any of them around Facebook, reach out and say thanks. Without them, it wouldn't happen. I could try and run a group of 34,000 by myself, but it wouldn't be too long before it was just utter chaos. So without all my admins, it wouldn't be as robust as it is. So I'm glad you enjoy it. I'm glad that it actually works for you, and I'm glad the girls decided to do this way back when, and they keep to it, and they come up with the themes, and it's so great. So I want to thank
the weekends when it's free topic.
Yeah. I want to thank first my guest tonight, Jinni. Christmas is awesome here. I'm going to show your people are asking about your group again. So let me show that again real quick. And Dave, I forgot to tell you, this is actually Jinni as a little girl on Santa's lap.
Yes, it is.
That's great. That's a great photo.
I can't tell if that look is about to be like, or hey, Santa, what's the shaking? I'm not sure where you were going with that look right there. You're kind of in the middle.
I actually have a picture of me on Santa's lap for every year I was born up until the age of about 12. There's a lovely picture of me when I was probably about 8.
Yeah, these are such great photos.
Right, that's a great
so
photo.
Head on over to Jinni's group. She'd love to have you. I remember when she was starting it out, she was like, hey, can I, and I didn't know if it was going to be any good, because when you have a big successful group, everyone wants your audience. And I don't mind sharing, but I'm only going to share with people who are putting out good content, not, doing bad YouTube shows, bad groups. I go, hey, get your group built a little bit, and then I'll let you post it. And she did. And she wasn't one, Jinni wasn't one of them fly-by-nights like, I'm just going to grab Jason's audience and I'll run. No, that's not how it works. But if you're a good participant in my groups and you've done your own thing, I am happy. I'm happy to send people to Margaret's group, International League of Thrifters. I'm happy for people to watch Margaret's videos, my videos. So if you're putting out good content and you're just a good human being like you are, I am more than happy to share the love.
Well, it was my pleasure to be on your show. I was thrilled when you asked me.
Thanks, Jinni. I learned a lot.
Oh, yeah, this was awesome. And then, Dave, thank you for being my co-host tonight.
Hey,
it was great to see you.
I really enjoyed it, Jason.
I wish we lived closer. We don't see each other.
For sure.
But you are going to be there next week, right?
Right. I will be there next week. And if anyone in your audience will be there, just feel free to come up and say hi, and I'll be happy to chat with you.
Well, I hope to make Vegas next year.
All right,
yes, for sure.
We'll be here ready to party with you. And Pollyanna, if you're still watching, I've got to get you in the secret beach. I messaged you. As soon as we're done with the show, I will get you in there. So I apologize. That's on me. I'll get you right in. But like I said, next Saturday afternoon, Thrifty Business live from Ecom Chicago. You're going to see a lot of me and a lot of co-hosts. I'm going to have 4 co-hosts and a surprise co-host from someplace else. And I ain't going to tell you, you got to tune in next Saturday. It's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be a great show. We're going to have a great time in Chicago. We got some parties planned, a lot of hanging out. So if you're at Ecom next week, I will see you all there. We roll into town on Wednesday night. So thank you, everybody. Sunday, I don't have a time yet. Now that we don't have to worry about the Cleveland Indians games, I'll figure it out. Mom and I will be doing a show on Sunday. So tune in for Selling Past Your Expiration Date, being Thrifty Over 50. And with that, I will thank my guests, and I will thank all of you for tuning in.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas.